It's finally here, the long-awaited obligatory manga collection video that every manga YouTuber seemingly has to do at some point in their career. I don't really brand myself as a manga collecting channel or anything like that, but I have a decent amount that I can show off, and I can't even count how many people have asked for this since I started doing YouTube. But I can say that it's at least 5 people. Anyway, I don't usually do videos without a script, and you're about to see why, but even with my bumbling nonsense, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you do, you should maybe consider subscribing to my channel. I always forget to say that. Anyway, I'm stalling. Let's just jump in, okay? Alright, so let's start from the top of the shelf. We have the Akira 35th Anniversary box set, and these are some really nice hardcover editions, as you can see, of all the 6 volumes of Akira. It also has a really nice art book that I really love, with tons of interviews and little behind the scenes on both the movie and the manga, so really nice there. And then we have the Battle Angel Alita box set and the Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind box sets. And as you can see, these are all like really classic manga, all really fantastic. I especially really love Alita, one of my favorite action manga out there. And these were all some of the first manga that I collected, I think. As in the beginning, you know, I wanted to collect the stuff that I really wanted, sort of deluxe stuff that just were really nice and exclusive. And then I kind of moved on to getting more general manga afterwards. But in the beginning, it was these nice collector's items, so to say. Alright, so moving down to the next step, we have the 12 this bigs 3-in-1s of Vagabond. And you know, I love Vagabond. It's just one of my favorite series. Takehiko Inoue, just an amazing artist. And it's too bad that this series is on hiatus, and even then, all the volumes that are out in Japan aren't actually translated yet. There are still some chapters that aren't translated, and these 12 this bigs only cover up to volume 36, where there are 37 out there. So it would be really nice if this series could actually see a conclusion, but even so, it's still a fantastic series. And I also have the Musashi novel that Takehiko Inoue based Vagabond off of, and yeah, I've been kind of just reading it every now and then when I have the time. As you can see, I'm almost finished, and it's really great as well. They are pretty different in a way. I feel like Vagabond is a lot more romanticized than what the original novel is, but it is really interesting to see how different they are where they change. For example, the novel also puts a lot more focus on some of the side characters that you don't really get in the manga. And next to that, we have 2 volumes of Manga Messiah. If you know, you know. And then moving on to the next shelf, we have volumes 1 to 11 of Vinland Saga. And I believe this is probably the only series in the entire collection that I haven't read yet. I really want to read it at some point, but I just have been saving it because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna enjoy it when I do. And then I have all these 11 volumes. I think I'm only missing one that is out as of right now. And then next to that, we have another series by the same author, Makoto Makimura, which is Planet Tess. And yeah, this is a fantastic sci-fi series, like really melancholy and existential, using the vastness of space to tell very sort of human stories, I would say. It's really good. And next to that, we have a message to Adolf, the only, I believe, Osamu Tezuka manga that I have in my collection. It's a really cool mystery, sort of setting around the beginning of the Second World War. And yeah, I really enjoyed it, so I'm probably gonna try to get into more of
Tezuka stuff in the near future. And then, moving down one step, we have my little Taiyo Matsumoto corner. You know, I love Taiyo Matsumoto. He's one of my favorites mangaka out there. Just really, really cool, experimental manga. So we have, first of all, Tekken Kincrete, a 3-in-1, which is the entire series in this one volume. And then we have Cats of the Louvre, which is not really my favorite of his, but it's still a really nice story. Also has a really, really nice hardcover version here from this. One of my favorites, just formats in my collection, I believe. And then we have volumes 1 to 6 of Sunny, his manga about an orphanage around the 1970s, I believe, which is really, really nice story about, you know, childhood and growing up. And I think he does a really good job of sort of depicting life through a child's eyes, which makes the series really, really nostalgic in a way. I really, really love that. And then there's probably his most famous series, Ping Pong, and also I believe I would say that's my favorite of his. Most famous probably due to the anime adaptation by Science Saru. And yeah, if you like the anime, then you really should consider checking out the manga as well. It's a fantastic, fantastic manga and just really highlights what Matsumoto is great at doing with sort of mixing a very realistic art style with more abstract stuff. And also the story is just great. I really, really love the characters and the way he uses ping pong to sort of, I should tell a story of life, really. I think it's a fantastic series. And lastly, we have number 5, which is a recent series. I just got volume 2 a few weeks ago, and honestly, I haven't quite made up my mind about this one yet. It is very strange, and it is cool. I do enjoy it, but I think whether or not I would put it among like some of my favorites up there with his other works, that would remain to be seen with the last 2 volumes, I believe. And then we have the box set for A Silent Voice. I actually think the movie is better than the manga, but the manga is still pretty good. I enjoy it quite a bit. And then there's Satoshi Kon's Opus, a sort of 2-in-1 manga, one of the few manga by him that has been released here in the West. And I believe this one was actually never finished. He never managed to finish it, and then obviously he passed away, I believe, in 2005. So there is sort of a potential ending included in it, which is just sort of a scribble. It is a really cool series, I think. But yeah, that's Satoshi Kon's Opus. And then we have my little Junji Ito collection here. First of all, starting with Venus in the Blind Spot and Shiver, which are short story collections. I actually really enjoy his short story collections. I'm not a huge horror guy in general, but I do really like having these Junji Ito books just to sort of scroll through and look at some of the really, really disturbing art that he's able to make. It's really, really cool, I think. And then we have 2 of his longer series, Uzumaki and Gyo, which are 3 and 2 volumes respectively. Yeah, I do quite like these as well, but like I said, I'm not big on the horror thing, so it's not my favorite stuff, but I do still find them really enjoyable. And then, moving down another step, we have my little Nagi Urasawa shelf right here. So we have, first of all, 20th Century Boys, Monster and Pluto, which are all some of the first manga that I read in general, and I have sort of recently, in the last year or so, I want to say, started collecting these just to, you know, have them, because they are some of my favorite manga out there. So as you can see, I'm missing a few. I'm missing volume 2 right here of 20th Century Boys, which I just have not been able to get at all, and then the rest after volume 7 here. And then there's Monster and Pluto, which I have completed. And then there is his most recent manga, Asadora, which I think is really, really good so far. It's about a girl growing up after the Second World War who wants to become a pilot. And yeah, I don't see a lot of people talking about this, even though I think it has started off really good. It's a little slow, maybe, compared to some of his other works. It's only at the end of Volume 3 that we really kind of see the direction where it's going, where he presents the main mystery, so to speak, because of course it's a mystery. It's Nagi Urasawa. So yeah, I really think more people should try to check this one out. And then, moving down here, we have volumes 1 through 7 of the deluxe editions of Berserk, and these are massive. I really, really like these. Also, like I said, some of the first stuff that I actually bought, because I was collecting these sort of nice deluxe editions in the beginning. But yeah, fun fact about me and Berserk, it was one of the first manga that I ever read, but I only read up until the end of the Conviction arc, which I believe stops around volume 20 or so. And then I sort of put it down, put it on a break, and then I said that I would continue reading it when I started collecting these deluxe editions. I would continue reading it as these came out. And then, after volume 7 came out, which would, I think, bring us to the end of the Conviction arc where I left off last time, then we got the message that Kentaro Miura had passed away. So I haven't bought the latest volumes. I think maybe volume 9 is out at this time, but I still plan to get them and sort of read the rest of the series when it's all done. But yeah, really, really, really great series. Obviously a absolutely fantastic classic. Alright, so moving on to another shelf, we have my little Inyo Asano collection right here, starting with Dead Demons Destruction. I have no idea if I said that right. And this is his newest manga. I think it's just finished in Japan actually, at 12 volumes. So as you can see, we have up to volume 10 right now, hoping that finishes really soon. It's really, really amazing. And then we have my favorite manga of all time, Goodnight Punpun. I feel like I've said a lot about this already. It's both my first manga that I ever read, and also still, to this day, my favorite, so I feel like that's probably enough of a sales pitch already. And then, next to that, we have one of his earliest works, Solanin, a really, really good one and done series. I really, really like that. I think I need to revisit that, actually. It's been quite a while since I read it, and I feel like I might actually have some different thoughts on it if I revisit it now. But anyway, moving on, we have the second volume of What a Wonderful World. And the reason I only have the second volume is because I ordered both the first and the second volumes together. I think it would be, what was it, like a year and a half ago almost, back in 2020. And then I got the message that, hey, the first volume is actually out of stock right now, so we're gonna send you the second volume and then we're gonna message you when we have the first one back in stock. So I thought, okay, probably not gonna take too long. First volume still is not back in stock, so I have yet to read this one. And then we have Nijigahara Holograph, really, really strange. I don't know if I understand it all, but it's very pretty. And then we have volumes 1 to 6 of the Master's Edition of Blam. So this collects all 10 volumes in 6 omnibus volumes. And these are really, really nice, high quality volumes. Really, really like the super size of the trim here. Really, really strange series, sort of very silent, quiet wandering around in a broken world. Really, really interesting. I think it would be safe to call it the Dark Souls of manga. Anyway, we move on to my little Shuso Oshimi stuff here. We have the omnibuses of Flowers of Evil. I really like that series. I think Oshimi has a real talent for sort of pacing his pages almost. He's not afraid to linger just on a single facial expression or just a slight movement during a conversation. Makes his manga really, really unique. And then Also, we have volumes 1 to 3, the first 3 of Blood on the Tracks. And honestly, I just read this recently, and this might become my new favorite of his when I'm finished. I really, really liked these first 3 volumes. Next up, we have my little Jiro Taniguchi collection, with some of his shorter stuff being A Journal of My Father, This Neighborhood, and A Zoo in Winter, and then the 5 volumes of The Summit of the Gods. And I got into his stuff rather recently, and I've really fallen in love with it. He has a great way of sort of drawing from his life experiences and putting them down on a page in a really subtle way, and all his stories are really fantastic from what I've read. The only one I haven't read here would be A Zoo in Winter, but everything else has been really, really good. And then we have a few anthologies, like short story collections. First one being The Swamp by Yoshiharu Tsuge, and then we have Yoshihiro Tatsumi's Goodbye, and also, I actually forgot to mention, Susumu Katsumata's Red Snow. And all of these are sort of early Gekiga manga, sort of around the 60s and 70s. And yeah, all of these are really, really good. I think all of them are from Drawn Quarterly. They are like hardcover releases that released. Some of these released a while ago. And out of these, I think my favorite would have to be Goodbye. There are 2 other collections by him released in English, one of them being, Abandon the Old in Tokyo, and I forget the name of the last one, I'll put it on screen. But yeah, I kind of want to get those, but the hardcover editions are, I think, very out of print and hard to get. So, I don't know, maybe I'll get the paperbacks, because I really did enjoy his stuff. And then we have A Drunken Dream and Other Stories by Moto Hagio, kind of a legendary shoujo mangaka. And I'm not big into shoujo normally, but I really enjoy this. The first stories are kind of, I don't know, generic in a way, not really that interesting, but some of the later stories become really, really good, and I enjoy them quite a bit, sort of going into the more weird and experimental territory there. But if you like shoujo manga especially, and I think even if you don't, it's a really good read I would recommend to everyone. Fantastic book also, this hardcover by, I think it's Fantagraphics. The spine kind of bothers me though, just sort of cut off here. And then we have The Boxman, which is a one-shot, also sort of a Gekiga manga, I think more recent than the stuff over here though. This one is very weird. I do not understand very much of it. It's sort of kind of like Blam, I guess, which I mentioned earlier, with sort of a traveler just journeying across this very, very strange world. Not a lot of dialogue at all, but unlike Blam, I don't really understand anything going on. It's still kind of cool though. Then we have Superdimensional Love Gun, which is also an anthology, a short story collection, and this one is fucking weird as hell. I don't really know how to explain it. I'll just put a panel on screen and then you can kind of see for yourself if I can find anything that I can actually show. It's not exactly a very YouTube friendly book, this. Then we have the classic collection of Devilman by Go Nagai. And I actually just finished this the other day, and yeah, it's weird, but I actually really enjoyed it, especially when you get to sort of a little bit into the second volume. It becomes really, really interesting, I think. And Devilman obviously being sort of almost a, what should I say, a big part of what sort of kicked off commercial seinen manga in the 70s. So a really, really influential work that I think everyone should try to read at some point. And moving on, we have something a little bit different from Devilman. We have Waterkoi, sort of a romance series, really, really cute. I have read about, I think, up to volume 2. and it's almost finished. I think it's finished in Japan in this July actually, so this last volume might be coming out very soon. But yeah, this is sort of a series that I just pick up whenever I feel like reading some light rom-com sort of stuff, and it's really, really good. Then we have a single volume series by Kari Osaki called The God's Lie. This one is a really, really cute story. I don't actually remember too much of it. It has been a few years since I read it. But yeah, I remember liking it a lot. It's sort of a very childlike, almost sort of romance, but not entirely. It was really, really cute, I remember that. And then, a manga that I talked about a couple of times, I Had That Same Dream Again, which is a adaptation of a novel written by the same author who wrote I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. And I feel like I've already talked about this a lot, but I think it's better not knowing too much about what it's about. But it is a sort of one and done. This is a 3-in-1 volume by Seven Seas. And yeah, I think really most people should check this one out. And then we have Astra Lost in Space, I think the only Shonen Jump series I have here, but partly because it's not 50 volumes long and I can actually have it on my shelf. Yeah, I quite enjoy this. This one was a fun little read. Not really too much to say about it, but yeah, it's sort of a mystery about a group of students being trapped in space and trying to make their way home. Yeah, I think the characters are very likable, the mystery is pretty good, and the twists and turns are generally, I didn't see them coming, so yeah, I think I can recommend this. And then we have volumes 1 to 5 of Mob Psycho 100. Now, I really, really love the Mob Psycho anime, and I thought that I didn't know when we would ever get season 3, so I just bought these manga volumes because I thought, hey, the manga is finished, it's been finished for quite a few years, so we're probably gonna get the manga completely released in the West pretty soon. But lo and behold, Dark Horse releases like one of these volumes every year, so at this point I'm pretty sure the anime is probably gonna finish before the manga does in the West. So, I don't know, probably not gonna collect any more of these, I'm probably just gonna watch the anime actually. And then finally we have our last shelf. Starting off with a couple of manga by Aniria. We have Go With The Clouds, North by Northwest, and Ran in the Grey World. I think these are the only series that have been published in English by Aniria, but I really, really love her art, and so I sort of just decided to get all of these because they're really, really nice. I especially love Ran in the Grey World, sort of really wonderful little fantasy story, which I really enjoy. Go With The Clouds, North by Northwest, is a story about Iceland, which is a pretty interesting setting, you don't see a lot, and it's kind of just, at some point, it seems like it's really just Akiiria wanting to tell about her vacation to Iceland, because it's a lot of sort of, I don't know, almost commercial for Icelandic tourism in a way at times, but I still really enjoy it. It's not finished yet, it's up to volume 5 right now, so yeah, I'm probably gonna get more of it. Like I said, really, really love her stuff. And then, next we have volumes 1 through 8 of Witch Hat Atelier. Now, I did talk about this in an earlier video, so kind of all the things I said there still stands. Just really, really cute, really, really wonderful series, sort of about this fantasy world where there are witches, and this girl, Coco, has to learn how to use magic to save her mother. And yeah, the art is absolutely gorgeous, and every time I read it I just get in a really good mood. So yeah, absolutely gonna continue collecting these. And then another really, really cute fantasy series, we have Beyond the Clouds by, I can't remember the name, Nike. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I believe this is a French manga actually, published by Kodansha. It's just a really, really feel-good series. Sort of this cyberpunky setting about this young boy and girl sort of almost going on an adventure exploring this really, really fantastic world. And then we have For the Kid I Saw in My Dreams by Ke Sambe. And this is by the same author who wrote Erased. Even though the author is pretty well known, I don't really see a lot of people talking about this series. I've only read up to volume 3 at this point. I'm not sure if I really want to continue reading it or not. It's kind of in the zone for me where it could be really good, but also could just fall off depending on what happens next. But it is a sort of a mystery about a young high school student who had his family murdered when he was younger, and he's sort of looking for the killer. And much like Erased, it sort of tackles a lot of sensitive topics like family abuse and that sort of stuff. So I am interested in seeing how he's able to handle this. Erased had some problems with the ending and sort of a very anticlimactic mystery, I think. But we'll see if he's learned anything from that and is able to maybe make this series really, really great. And then the final manga in my collection is A Bride Story by Kaoru Mori. One of my favorite manga, period, actually. Fantastic art, just so detailed, and such a love for history on display here. It takes place in sort of around the Silk Roads in the middle of the 1800s, and it just does a fantastic job of exploring just everyday life in this area. And yeah, I really, really love reading these every time I get one. So it's up to volume 12 right now, and I think volume 13 is coming out in January. So yeah, I just really, really love this series, and it deserves so much more love than it gets. It is fairly popular, but just, man, it's so amazing.
Oh, back on script. Thank God that's over. If you're still here, good job. Thank you for sticking with me. Our channel just had its 1-year anniversary, so I want to take the time to really show my appreciation to all the people who watch my videos. Really, thank you so much. I never thought we'd grow to a size like this in such a short time, and I owe it all to you guys. I'll admit, this video was something of a rush job, as I needed something to put out in between my exams, but I promise you I still have so many things I want to do in the future, so I hope you'll stay with me for a little while longer at least. This has been Avantgarde, and I'll see you next time.